we have the doc? The Google Doc?
Yeah, I was trying to scroll up and find it, and I'm like, wait, where is it? I'm so confused now.
I found it.
Yeah, he didn't even. Did he even really post it in here? He just like invited.
I think it was
group and was
in a
like,
different thing.
Right?
Thoughts
I
on
think it was in a
Nintendo
different
Switch
chat,
Online?
but
Yeah,
I
you
do
didn't-
actually have it though now.
Here, you just gotta scroll up
You should post it again for misclick.
farther enough.
That's true. That's true. Okay.
And for me, because now, oh, there it is. Yeah, you posted it in our chat.
Live now. Game over, Jesse.
What?
Oh my gosh.
Who's that? I've never heard of that channel.
Oh, mine does sound loud. Good heavens. Okay. Why? Yeah. I don't even have Twitch on my phone, but I always get notifications when people are live, and I'm like, I don't watch Twitch unless I'm on my laptop.
Ooh.
Wow.
Ooh, we got a jam-packed schedule on here, man.
Yeah, there's 27 people watching. Now, 5 of them are us, but still.
Oh, what happened?
With the,
Someone just said, I nate Nintendo Online.
You Nate Nintendo Online?
I nate it too.
Actually, no, they said,
Nate's
I
a great
nate
guy.
Nintendo, not Nintendo. They said Nintendo.
Nan,
They're
like,
being specific.
They tried.
To be fair, when you get riled up about something and you type things, I think I was typing something in the Banjo-Kazooie stream earlier, and I totally screwed up half the wording because I was trying to be like, no, go get Golden Feathers, do not go down there. So I was like, don't die.
Oh,
Don't
no.
die if you go down
Ilya.
there.
Ilya, after you left, I died again, and I was like, that's it. I'm done streaming for today.
Turn your mic up a little bit more, Daniel. I don't know what happens,
Oh,
but like you keep
man.
getting quieter.
He's trying to fade away.
I'm just gonna phase out of existence. Maybe it was the microphone sock. All this time, Saki betrayed me.
It sounds so much better without the sock.
Why?
It does. Woo.
Is
Time
everybody
to retire the sock.
everyone ready?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ich bin richtig. Actually, no, richtig means right. I said that wrong. I just said I am right. Inherently.
usually-
Oh
True,
no,
but
I'm the
still.
middle person. I look so gross. Why can't Miss
No,
Click
you
be the
don't. You
middle
look gorgeous and
person?
you're the best one for the
Giant.
middle.
Giant chublima.
Oh, and
Guys are
it's
so
stuck on your
cute.
face for a moment.
It froze for a second on your frowny face, so there was just like 3 seconds where Chewie was just like,
Alright.
and it was great.
I don't know what is going on in this chat whatsoever. Just a lot of emojis.
I know.
Oh, we got 40 people watching already. We haven't even done
Woohoo!
anything.
Hello, everyone.
They're hearing
Why
our
didn't you guys
Because of
join me for
Misclick.
Banjo Kazooie? I'm just kidding.
Wait, it shouldn't be you.
I love how
I updated
Jonathan is like, whoa, 5 people.
it. Yeah.
Hey, you gotta be stoked no matter what. You know,
Yeah,
gotta
I
appreciate
love
the
it.
ones that are here.
Zelda, Birth of the Wild. I love you guys.
Banjo would not survive in a Zelda
I love
game.
Yellow Kazoo and Karasu and RPG.
Alright.
Is Capt B a father? Oh yes, I am. By the way. yes. By the way. But
People didn't know that.
no, I guess not.
Well, now you know.
No. Surprise!
Hey, John.
I thought you knew.
Alright, we ready?
We're ready.
Okay. The thing's happening again. So in case you don't know, Misclick, every time we go to begin the podcast, I always feel like I have to yawn. And if I start, I'll yawn, and it'll ruin everything.
Well, if you yawn, I yawn. So, you know, just
Yawns are contagious.
no pressure.
Alright. What's up, everybody? I don't know who I am. I'm scared.
It's a
I yawned in my audio I recorded earlier, and I was just like, I feel like Jesse. Okay, and moved on.
Thank you. Alright, what's up, everybody? I am Jesse, or Game Over Jesse, as all of you may know me. Here with us on episode 54-ish of the Hylian Gamescast is Chiblima, Ilya, Daniel, and returning for the millionth time, Miss Click.
Hey.
So on today's podcast, we are going to be talking about the PlayStation Classic, our thoughts on the finally released Nintendo Online with all of the glorious NES games that it has. If we have time, we're going to discuss our hopes for the next Zelda, go into some wacky Mario theories before ending with a few questions coming from fans like yourself. If you would like to have your question guaranteed to be featured on the show, you can become a Patreon supporter just like these awesome people have. We have Jacob, Michael, Elmer, Bootleg Boy, Gus, Justin, That One Pancake, Key of Time 15, Monica, Casey Willis, Link Use the Triforce, Megan, Lunarium, Robbie, Shadow to Us, Rusty, and Livable Christie. So, to start us off, Miss Click, our guest, what have you been up to lately?
Playing video games.
Nice.
That doesn't sound like you. Are you sure?
No, it's been really fun. More specifically, I got bitten by the competitive Splatoon bug, so the last month we just been away from all the single player games. We've just been doing ranked in Splatoon, trying to get rank X. We're almost there. We're 3/4 of the way there, so that's really, really fun. But tonight we actually just started the new Spider-Man. So I'm really excited because I mainly just wanted to kind of revolve myself around. I loved God of War so much. This got a lot of good reviews, so I was just kind of like, let's see if it could dethrone God of War. I'm still too early to tell, but that's been what's up.
All right. You recently became a Nintendo brand ambassador. Would you like to talk about that?
I mean, I don't really know like what exactly to say just yet because it has just been so recent. They said, they'd get back to me with new info for the Nintendo America kind of stuff going on. But it's been pretty cool. And so far, I've had other Nintendo America ambassadors reach out to me, which was really, really cool. It's kind of like you see people come out of the woodwork, and like even some people that you didn't know were ambassadors have reached out to me. So it's been really cool. Like you can kind of see this camaraderie among them. But yeah, I'm really excited. So.
Awesome. All right, so I think we can begin our first news story. So this is going to be talking about Nintendo Online. We're not really reading from our usual news stories that we read from, but this is more of, I've seen a lot of people on Twitter. There's been a lot of hate for the Nintendo Online lately, and I personally don't understand it. People saying that it's not worth the value, which it's only $20. But with all of the games that you get for it, all of the upcoming games as well, and of course the usual getting to play the games online, that's really the main purpose for it. But a lot of people are complaining about like still having to use your phone for voice chat when you can just use Discord or something else, like the Wii U, the 3DS, and I think even the Wii had a couple of games that did weird stuff to have voice chat.
Minor voice chat, yeah.
Yeah, like didn't Animal Crossing have something with voice chat on
You
the
had to
Wii?
buy an adapter for it. You had to buy a communication adapter. Like Brawl, you could communicate, but only like in between matches, not actually during. So they kind of had it. It was a little weak, but I mean, it's more than what we have now, in a way.
So it originally released with 20 games, and in the next couple of months, it looks like on Nintendo's websites, they have 3 new games for the next 3 months until the end of 2018. They don't have anything posted for 2019 yet. But in total, you're going to get like, if this continues all the way until the end of your 1-year subscription, that's 12 months with 3, so you're going to have 36 different new games added to this. So in total, you'll get a chance to play like 56 different NES games, unless they switch it over to Super Nintendo games later on. So I don't see what the hate for this is. Like maybe it's just people that got used to having all of it for free, and then suddenly it got jerked away from them.
I was gonna say, when you think about it, Nintendo has been the longest running free service for online gaming for a while. And I understand that there are things that definitely could be improved. I'm a little upset, specifically, mainly Splatoon type related things. Like I think the cloud save is what they've been upset about. On Spawncast, they brought up a really good point though about you probably, if you were to choose one or the other, you probably would want local saving over cloud. Simply for the fact that if the cloud goes down, mean, your data's still gone. Like, you're still trusting in another server of some sort. So I think another thing that a lot of people don't necessarily think about, other than the fact that it's been free for so long, is that these games, if you didn't buy the classics, which I know you'll talk about the PlayStation later on, but if you didn't buy the classics, this is a good way for you to have access to them, and then also play with your friends. Like, I know a lot of people were upset, and then they actually played the NES, and like, oh, this is actually really fun. I'm playing a game from when I was a kid, and now I'm playing with one of my best friends to this day, and it's like a weird inception, you know? And I think that some people, you know, it's a hype train. Once the hype train starts going, that hashtag or whatever gets the drive behind it, like, people just kind of go on about it. And I'm upset about it too, but I'm not outraged as a lot of people are. So I don't know. It's dichotomy.
All right. Does anyone else have any complaints that they've had with the service?
Not complaints myself, but I think the one thing that has stood out to me is I've noticed sort of things that were pointed out on Twitter where people, younger gamers who are into like Splatoon or something online, and basically don't have a credit card, and their parents don't want to pay for their online subscription, and basically have to retire from playing Splatoon. And you know, for me, like, that does not affect me. It doesn't affect any of us. But there are people who are Nintendo fans that are going to be out this service because they don't have access to this online thing anymore. For myself, what the online service offers, I think it offers enough for what the price it's charging. I've had a lot of fun going back to the NES games. But like, I can see that being an issue for some people, especially people who don't have the online presence to voice that complaint that we may have. So just kind of something I've noticed floating around Twitter a little bit, sort of in the corners of Twitter. Like, someone screen capped some, they're not, I was going to say Miiverse, but those posts in the Splatoon Plaza of someone being like, yep, I'm not going to be able to play Splatoon anymore because I'm 15 or 16 and I don't have a credit card yet. Oh well. So yeah, that's all I got though. Otherwise, I mean, I think the service is great and stacks up against its competition, for like, because it's charging like a third of the price, it stacks up really well for what it's offering. So yes, someone else take it away.
So with what Daniel said, I actually posted it in Game Over Jesse's Discord channel that your local like game shop, so like Best Buy, EB Games, or GameStop, they have Nintendo online cards that you can buy. So you don't have to worry. Cheaper. Yeah, and you don't have to be like, oh, like, Mom, can I use your credit card so that way I can get Nintendo online? It's like, you can go into a GameStop and hopefully maybe you have an allowance or something, and now you can get, like, you don't have to worry about not having that credit card. And then, yeah, other than that, like, I've been having a lot of fun playing NES games with my boyfriend, so that's been exciting. We kicked his butt in... Oh, Dr. Mario. That was amazing. We had to keep playing until he beat me.
Dr. Mario is the best.
So how long did that take? If you had to keep playing till he beat you.
Did you let him win?
I was gonna say, it took like 5 full, because I think you get to win like 3 times, so it took 5 of those.
Oh god.
Oh wow. Oh wow.
I think if there's one more thing I can say also, that another thing that was brought up is that you have to realize also Nintendo is competing with Sony and with Microsoft, but they're competing with freaking Microsoft. Like, a lot of people are expecting this online service to come out the very first time it launches and to be perfect. Like, you need to offer everything that the competitor offers and more. Like, what are you doing? This is unacceptable. But you have to realize this is their first actual attempt. And they need moving capital. They actually need capital in the works if they're going to want to build this. And if we want more things, if you're wanting the same amount of service that the other people are giving you, it's probably going to start. It's the cost is probably going to go up. Like that, I'm if things do upgrade, I'm assuming we will be seeing a price increase. If not next year, then the year after that. You know, hopefully I'm not an old lady by the time it happens. But they're competing with people who actually make computers. Like, because they actually make computers, they're competing with their own console. That is their competition, and I'm pretty sure there are lawsuits just waiting to happen if Nintendo steps over any little line that is too much like Microsoft Online or Sony Online, like anything like that. I'm pretty sure they are going to want to take Nintendo down because they know Nintendo's new at this. So, you know, for me, it's personally like, I just want to see improvements over time. I'm okay if we're struggling a little bit in the beginning, But so far, I mean, the quality's been the same. We haven't seen that suffer too much. I just want to see it get better over time. I'm just willing, personally, I'm willing to pay for those improvements over time. It's just, people are gonna be complaining even if that happens. So it's like, you're screwed either way,
Yeah. You got me too. I totally will just shell out any money Nintendo has. Like, Nintendo can just show up at my door and be like, "Can I have $50?" and I would give it to them. So,
Sure, here you go, Miyamoto. I'm sure you already get paid millions,
thanks.
but here's $50.
Only if I got a hug from him. If I got a hug from him, I'd give him $50.
A hug from Miyamoto.
Oh wow!
Yes.
I think that's a lowball offer. I think it would cost more than $50.
His
Oh my
security
God.
would tackle you. All right, Ilya, do you have any complaints that you would like to voice about the online service?
Honestly, I feel like I'm kind of maybe the odd woman out on this because I have not joined the online service, and
Join our family.
I'm really thinking about it because
us.
the only game I would need to play online is Mario Kart, and I hardly ever play that online. I tend to play it on my own. I don't have a ton of time to play it online. And even with the NES games, it's kind of like there's not really any that I want to play necessarily that I don't already have on my 3DS. So most of what I would have to say about the online service is kind of a moot point because it's like, well, I can't say much. But as far as what I've gathered from what other people are saying, I think most of what I've gathered is just like, okay, people, why are you screaming and yelling about a service before it comes out or the day it comes out? Why are you expecting this to be perfect from the get-go? Calm down. Do you not know Nintendo? Like, yes, Nintendo, they are the people that gave us the what's it called? The thing that I completely forgot what it's called. The thing that you put on and everything was in black and red.
Oh, the Virtual Boy.
Virtual Boy. Yes, Nintendo gave us the Virtual Boy, but look how many improvements they've made from other things. Do you not think Nintendo will improve? Like, calm down. If you're a Nintendo veteran at this point, you should know that.
Yep,
you should know that they are going to fix things. And also, and obviously there are a lot of people who play Nintendo and Xbox and PlayStation and everything, but there's a lot of people who just play Nintendo, and I can't help but think that maybe Nintendo's like, well, our audience is a little bit different, so we need to offer something a little bit different from everyone else. And some of the biggest things, like, voice chat and everything, I agree, the app is stupid, but you know what? It's not that hard to get around. So, I don't know, I just see people get outraged, and I'm like, I can't tell if you're really this immature or you're just trying to get viewers and retweets and such. So
usually,
I don't know. I'm just like, from an outside perspective, I'm like, why are we all getting outraged about this? I'm so confused. They didn't break a law, but okay, whatever.
Yeah. Chablima, do you have any concerns over it? Because you mentioned playing games with your boyfriend, but you didn't necessarily mention your thoughts other than that.
Honestly, it would be much of the same what everyone else has been saying. Like, I know people are like, oh, like, why are you guys talking about Nintendo like they're a child and you need to have patience with them? It's like, they have never done this before. They are not, like, they haven't done it the way that Sony and Microsoft have done it. And like Miss Click said, like, you kind of have to, like, tiptoe around a lot of different things in order to get it functioning properly. So we'll wait it out. And it's only $1.66 a month. So, like,
thank you.
Money? That's like, I have $1.50 on my counter right now.
Yeah, okay, so I have two thoughts on this. One goes along with what Miss Click was saying, with it's going to take time for Nintendo to get there, because last year, well, first off, with Sony, ever since the PS3 Online became a thing and they started really pushing their PlayStation Plus, everyone's been asking to change their usernames. And it's been how many years? Like 2 complete console generations, and you still can't change your name?
I think Sony's expressed that they're going to do what they're going to do. And I feel like people should be more upset about not being able to crossplay than they should be able to, I don't know, have an app. I don't know. For me, I would want to play with my friends, regardless.
Yeah. And then the other thing with PlayStation is last year they raised their price for their PlayStation Plus from whatever it was, and then I think they added like $10 onto it or whatever for the year deal. There was a lot of people that complained about that, but then there was a lot of people that thought, well, if they're charging more, maybe this just means they're going to give better service, their servers are going to be better, there's going to be faster load times or faster times to get into rooms to play with other people. You don't really know where that extra $10 is going, especially because on the PlayStation 3 and the PlayStation Vita, you got it free, like you did with Nintendo, but then on PlayStation 4, you had to start paying. Whereas if you had PlayStation Plus before on the PlayStation 3, you would just get the free games and discounts and deals and stuff. My second thing with Nintendo, which I forgot it while I was talking about the first thing. This is horrible. No, okay, so with a lot of people that are complaining about Nintendo making you purchase the $20 to now play online, like some people said that they never even knew that they were going to start charging, and the way that I look at it is, in a way, I think people, and I might get some rude comments for this, but I feel that some people should be a bit more grateful, because Nintendo at first said that they were going to give everyone like 3 months or whatever it was to play for free online.
Got delayed, right?
Yeah, and then they delayed it, and over a year later, now they're finally releasing it. So I look at it as Nintendo, like when you first bought the Switch, if you bought it on launch day, then your expectations was, I'm going to get 3 months free and then
pay.
Yes. But Nintendo basically gave everyone a year's free subscription to play online. We didn't get the NES games, but yeah. So instead
I feel like people got used to that.
Yeah. I think people should look at it as not, I'm mad because Nintendo's making me pay. I think they should look at it as, I'm grateful they allowed me to play for free for so long. Because everyone, when Splatoon was probably at its biggest, which is probably right now the biggest online game on Nintendo, aside from Fortnite, depending on how many people are playing that. But everyone got to play that for free online for so long. And now everyone that originally bought it are either the hardcore people who are still playing it and paying to play online, or they're the people that were just interested for the launch cycle and played it for that first month or two, and now they're out. So that's just how I looked at it. But anyone have any final thoughts before we move on?
Well, the way that I knew it wasn't going to be an issue was my friend Prudhomme. When he hooked up his Nintendo Switch, I was there with him, and he was like, $20 a year for Nintendo Online? Sign me up. He doesn't even play his console. He still signed up for it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Plus, if $20 is too steep, there's that workaround that we found. I don't know if we should reveal that on our, on our podcast.
You talking about the family?
It's on the down low.
Yeah. And like that's the thing
we're a family, right?
Yeah, I would have paid the $20 just to play the original Zelda on the go on the Switch. Like instead of the $10 or whatever it is on the Wii U, I think it's $8. But like if they would have said, instead of paying $8 to play it on your Wii U, give us $20 and you can play it on your Switch. Maybe it's just because I'm obsessed with Zelda, but I would have been like, yes, I can just put it in my bag and just listen to the music. That's
you're at the airport, you're flying, you're traveling, you're in the car. Like, I mean, you're also paying for freaking portability too.
And if $20 just to play Zelda seems like, okay, that's ridiculous. Okay, it's also to play Zelda and Mario and Dr. Mario and that baseball game and Tecmo Bowl.
Freaking balloon fight, dude.
All these classics, like a ton of classic NES games. Probably more to come. Probably, I can't see them not doing Super Nintendo games too down the road. I feel like they will. So it's just, that's a huge library of games for $20. And if you want to go to a games shop and try and scoop up that many games for that price, like, good luck. Let me know where you're shopping. But that's a really good bargain for what you get.
All right, so for the next story, guys, we have some options here. We can either skip the PlayStation Classic talk about what our hopes are for the next Zelda, or we can skip that and talk about the PlayStation Classic.
I'm fine with either.
I don't know.
Well,
What is chat more interested in?
everyone will
what do
say
you
Zelda, but like, what do we really have about Zelda to talk about? I feel like, well, we do have hopes. We do have hopes and dreams.
Yeah. So, and the reason I'm saying that is because no matter how many times we talk about it in like our Zelda mailbag, when someone asks, there's always people that are still asking.
Mm-hmm.
So,
It's true.
all right. So, I guess we can do that one because the PlayStation Classic, everyone who is interested has already seen stuff about it. So,
And
Yeah.
I don't want to say his username, but someone in the chat says Zelda is life, and I.
Zelda is life.
But so let's talk about Zelda, I guess.
Seems like Zelda is the popular vote.
All right.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Aang says one-word reviews for PlayStation Classic and move on.
One
Cool.
reviews. Yeah.
That's
cool.
my
One
review.
word reviews.
Or more, my review would be
Too expensive.
exists.
Exists.
It exists. That's 2 words. So
Can I do the okay? That's my review.
okay.
I would just say it needs a power adapter and it needs DualShock, but you know, that's just me.
hmm
Yeah, that is the thing. It only has the D-pad on the PlayStation
original.
controllers.
Mhm.
Sorry guys, we're not talking about Zelda after all. We're talking about PlayStation.
All right, Ilya, one-word review.
Wait, can you? Sorry, I was answering something in the comments, so I didn't hear any
One-word
of that.
review on the PlayStation Classic.
Copycat.
Copy.
Copycat. Oh,
Yeah.
good point.
Mine.
I also never really played PlayStation much. My brothers played it. I had like a Dreamcast and stuff, but like, so I'm just like,
Dreamcast.
oh, copying Nintendo. That's probably a good move for you guys, but copycat.
Well, Atari and Sega both did it, but
Yeah.
those
Correct.
were super, like,
So I don't mean copycat and like you copycat. It's just like, oh, okay.
no, but like it is kind of a cash-in because the Nintendo
Mhm.
one sold like freaking hotcakes, and
Mhm.
then but
I don't
Atari
blame
and
them.
Sega tried it, and there was like no publicity about it. Like no one talked about it. They just kind of existed. So I wouldn't be too surprised if. I just feel like Nintendo fans we're all kind of suckers for that kind of thing. You see something, we're like,
Yeah.
oh, I need to have it. I need to buy 100 amiibos. I need this.
That's
Yeah.
just you,
and-
Daniel.
Okay, it's
well,
totally
this is
me.
okay. So this is the thing, right? Nintendo has always kind of been about preserving the nostalgia, kind of growing up with your fans a little bit, like using these characters you knew as a kid and bringing them with you as you grow up. PlayStation's always been about we're gonna do something new every single time, new graphics, new story, more story. 4K, 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 right?
Mhm.
And they never really necessarily preserved that nostalgia. So now they're coming out with the PS1. I feel like there are a lot of people getting hit with that Nintendo type bug of nostalgia. Like, oh my God, I didn't even realize, you know, I missed these games from the PlayStation, because PlayStation was one of my first consoles too. So it was
Mhm.
like, you know, I would love to have had DualShock to play some old games of like Crash Bandicoot Team Racing, you know, or the Street Fighter, stuff like that. But you just see a lot of people from the Sony era always bash Nintendo people for being nostalgic. Oh, you're so nostalgia driven. And now you see all these people with the PS1 Classic coming out. They're like, oh, I'm going to get it. Even if I'm not going to play it, it looks so cool. And it's like, well, there you go.
Yeah.
Point proven.
It's like, welcome to our world. See,
Yeah.
Feel the love. Feel the love. No judgment here. That's all
Deadlock in
we're
the chat says something that I was thinking, that they even copied the word classic. They didn't even like try to change it up from
True.
Nintendo Classic
Even the
to-
poster looks the same. Just them holding it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, but moving on to Zelda. All right.
Yes,
So-
Zelda.
For the intro, because each segment goes up as its own video, so there'll be an intro for each one.
Sure.
But it'll just be a quicker version. All right. What's up, everybody? I am Jesse, or Game Over Jesse. Here with us is Chiblima, Miss Click, Ilya, and Daniel. Today we're going to be talking about our hopes for the next Zelda game, whether we are hoping for or expecting a remake like Ocarina of Time HD or a port of Wind Waker HD from the Wii U to the Switch, a new game that's a follow-up to Breath of the Wild or a new 2D game that would be a follow-up to A Link Between Worlds and Triforce Heroes. So, starting with you, Miss Click, our special guest, what are your hopes for the next Zelda game, and when would you expect it to come out? Now remember, it doesn't need to be the big Breath of the Wild follow-up. It could be, I think there's going to be a remake of some kind, or I think it's going to be the smaller 2D game. So
for the next Zelda in general, I personally would love if they kind of revisited the collector's edition that they did for the GameCube, brought everything over and put it to the Switch.
Yes,
I don't know if they would do a single cartridge with everything. I think maybe it's just like a feature that you can get on the eShop. You know, like they're all available, you know, maybe for digital download. I would love to see a cartridge of those games though. Like freaking have all of them come over would be a dream come true. I know it's kind of crazy, but I just really want my Skyward Sword HD really bad because I've been holding off on replaying it. But as far as like a new Zelda, if there were to be one, I think last time I talked about this was with you, but I think I would want to see one after Skyward Sword, but before Ocarina of Time. So in that period that we don't have too much action going on, you know, I feel like things are kind of added to the bottom, you know, just kind of subconsciously. And I feel like I want to fill in some more holes a little bit. So I'd kind of like to know, like, maybe it's like a brand new Hyrule, or like the end of the game, like Hyrule's finally established. Like, how cool would that actually be?
Yeah.
I know Skyward Sword, like, spoilers, 7-8 years ago at this point, but you know, like, it kind of leaves off of, well, what now, Link? What will you do? And it's like, you're gonna stay in Hyrule together and you're gonna live happily ever after, and then all the games start, you know, stuff like that. But I'd want to see all the technical stuff kind of fall into place.
All right, great. My thought on that is I would want it to be either a sequel or pseudo-sequel, to where it either takes place directly after and then they're just trying to like establish what is Hyrule. It can pick up like a few years later. It doesn't have to be directly after. Or
Skyward Sword?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or it would have after everything has already been established, and then maybe someone like a bad guy comes along to try to take it over. That way, if we could play as, because in Twilight Princess we play as like the great whatever grandson of the Link from Ocarina of Time. It would be interesting if you played as the great whatever grandson of the hero of the wind or sky, whatever he is, the Link from Skyward Sword. And then maybe they could give some hints that he and Zelda maybe actually did get together. I think that would be cool. Yeah, Chiblima making some weird faces. What is your...
in a perfect world.
Yeah.
Right.
Wait, first I wanted to ask real quick, Miss Click, your first thing was, you said the Zelda collection. So if they were to do that for the Switch, whenever they did it for the GameCube, they had the first two Zelda games.
First two, Majora,
two newest,
Ocarina.
Yeah.
And then a demo for Wind Waker.
Yeah, so it was the two newest Zelda games before Wind Waker released. And then
they did really cool music videos.
Yeah, and then the demo
music
for
videos,
Wind Waker.
yeah.
So, excluding Zelda 1 and 2, what would be the games that you would like to see? The 4 games.
Oof, in a perfect world, I'd say put the 3Ds on there. Put Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask 3D. I know that's asking for a lot, but even just the original ones, because you know on Wii U you could buy Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask in their current form, and that's how we replayed those. So I would honestly say like the major console titles would be really cool, and then to see the portable ones ported over too. For a lot of people, I didn't own a handheld. For me personally, the only games I really would want would be the Zelda games, and as much as I love Zelda, remakes of 3D weren't enough for me to buy a handheld, and there's been like 3 actual handheld games since then, and you know they've got mixed reviews, which they're all special in their own way. But I would say definitely to have at least the original Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Wind Waker, Skyward Sword, and then not really, you don't need to include Breath of the Wild, because I mean everybody has Breath of the Wild at this point, but the games like that, the major ones.
All right, and finally, moving back to you, Jiblima, what is your thoughts or hopes for the next Zelda?
So it's funny. I thought that I was being super like I was just like, yeah, I want all of the Zelda games. Let's do a collection. And then misclicked it, and I was like, what do I want in life?
Yeah. Well, see, the thing is, a lot of people. Sorry, Daniel. But
I want to know that we should all put a collection together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Collection.
I think we all honestly want a collection at this point.
Right.
And
Exactly.
I think a lot of people would
Yeah.
see that and be like, Nintendo wouldn't do that, forgetting that they already have.
Yeah.
Correct. Exactly.
So, for the people that are thinking of commenting or may have already commented, being like, well, Nintendo wouldn't do that. Why would they give away 4 games in one? It's like, well, they already did.
I started my experience with Nintendo with them having that. Like, that was my first disc. That disc and Mario Party 5 were like my 2 first games from Nintendo. So I always kind of imagined it's the best one in my opinion. I love 4 too, but yeah, I mean, I've always kind of had that expectation that they even did that with Metroid.
Yeah.
They did it with the Metroid Prime trilogy, you know, and which that's another thing I would also like for the Switch is to have that trilogy come. We're going to replay it. I have it for the Wii U, and I hope they keep the motion controls in because it made it so much more intuitive. But they've done it with Metroid as well, so who's to say that they won't do it? Except now all the new games are with them, and
All right.
Yeah.
Did you finish? Yeah, Chiblima. Yeah.
Just
We'll just
Give
keep
me-
interrupting you.
you know what? Not even just the collections. Just give me every single Zelda game ever. Put it on the Switch. Bam.
All the Zeldas, even the CDI.
So the question is, what's the next
No.
Zelda game you want? And Kayla says, I want 20 Zelda games.
All right.
Oh my
well,
gosh.
Ilya.
Okay, so we've gotten kind of the obvious out of the way, which is we want all of them.
All the Zeldas.
We want all of
It's
them.
that little
but
meme
it's-
of the guy holding the pitchfork.
All of the Zelda.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Wait, is it a pitchfork? I don't know.
They change what he's holding. Sometimes it's just his fist, and he's just like.
Cute.
But that is literally all of us. I know specifically kind of 2 things. Specifically, I want Skyward Sword with the option to not use motion controls just because I'm left-handed, and I really want to play Skyward Sword, but I cannot do right-handed motion controls for a left-handed person.
or
I don't
backwards
know what-
capability. Maybe they could just
Yeah.
make it for left-handed too. You know, it's 2018.
Which just means flipping the game, which they did for Twilight Princess on the Wii. They flipped the entire game, which is why I got Twilight Princess HD, because I couldn't do it. I was just like, no, my left-handedness cannot compute. But so I would love that, because as much crap as people give about the game, it has amazing music, it has amazing story, and all the Let's Plays I've seen, I'm just like, what's y'all's problem? It's Zelda and it's great. Be quiet. It's not CDI. Move on. But so I would love that. And honestly, as far as like a future game goes, I can only imagine a handheld right now, or I guess if they're still doing it for the 3DS, I don't know. Because I don't know why. Maybe because Breath of the Wild is still newer to me than maybe everyone else, because I didn't get it till December, because I didn't have a Wii U till December. But anyway, the idea of following up that game is so hard for me right now for some reason. I'm just like, oh, it's so good. And I think I mentioned this before. That was the first main console game I ever got and started playing without having one of my brothers play it previously. Ocarina of Time, Twilight Princess, Wind Waker, all of them I watched to my brothers first, and then went, oh, okay, and started playing. The first actual Zelda game I played on my own was A Link Between Worlds. That was the first one I started on my own. Phenomenal game. But Breath of the Wild was the first main console game that I saw the trailers on my own, and I went and got it on my own and started playing it on my own. So the thought of a new main console game, I'm just like, what would you do? That was like 90% perfect. I don't know. Make it as good. No, make it better. But how?
We have some time. We got plenty of time. Don't
I know.
worry.
I imagine it's gonna take a couple of years before there's even a trailer about it. Which obviously there's a part of me that's like, no, I want a new one now. But also I can keep playing Breath of the Wild, and that's the great thing. I can keep playing it and still find new things. So I could go on forever about that. So
All right. Well, Daniel, what are your hopes?
So, like, Zelda collection pack aside, we mentioned this on a podcast a while back, but where's my Zelda 2 remake?
Oh yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just saying,
Yeah.
I
The
want
indie
that business.
creates people.
yeah, they said they're like, we want to do it, and I'm like, yes, let's do it. Zelda, no one loves Zelda 2, and it's a great game, and I would love to see it given the Samus Returns treatment. You know, that nice sort of 2.5D ish, like it's 3D, but it's a 2D style gameplay treatment. That treatment would be phenomenal. I'd love it. Gimme.
All right.
Yeah.
Is that it?
That's it. That's all I got.
Zelda 2.
That's it.
Zelda
That's it.
Because
2.
we've got remakes of other games already. Like, I mean, like the collector's pack would be awesome, but we've had remakes of Zelda 1. Link to the Past, kind of, with a Link Between Worlds. Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask got their 3D remakes. Wind Waker, Twilight Princess got their HD remakes. So all we're missing, Miss Click covered Skyward Sword already. So we need Skyward Sword HD, and we need a Zelda 2 remake. That's all we're missing, really, except for some of the handheld stuff. Okay, the handheld stuff as well.
I know.
As far as the main like console entries go, that's our missing link there. No pun intended. So.
Oh, come on, intend that pun. You have to
No, it
intend
just happened. I'm not gonna walk away from it, but
No, it definitely got me excited when people were like, "I want the Samus Returns treatment for Zelda 2," and I was like, "Yo, that's actually that's a good idea."
Okay, so I'm going to add the Samus Returns treatment. Would you rather have it like that, or in the art style of Octopath Traveler?
Samus Returns, to be honest. Like, that's just me, though. I'll bite my bottle.
I really like Octopath's art style. It's beautiful.
I think I just caused a civil war inside Daniel's brain.
It's going on. It's raging in my head.
Oh my gosh.
Desi always asks the hard questions.
True.
All right. Well,
I mean, if you're gonna do it with Octopath style, technically you would have to change the gameplay itself.
Oh yeah.
True,
So,
but just like the art style, like the visual.
It is pretty. I think it's just the actual gameplay that would stump me. Just because for people, they'd probably like the JRPG type feel to it. But I personally, with Samus Returns, you have the really cool, improved, like kind of fluid type combat, you know, with the auto aim and the aim from all the directions type. Like, it'd be kind of nice to have that, you know, with Link and a side scroller. So I don't know.
I think you're right. I think that a more just like 3D style graphics would work better, just because as gorgeous as Octopath is, I can't see real-time combat working as effectively in that art style as like, and yeah, for an RPG it looks gorgeous, it works, but once you start having to do that fluidity, I think you're right. You just I think it would sort of, it wouldn't mesh as well as just going full 3D on it would. So yes, the Civil War has concluded. So
Alright. Well, I would say, well, first off, Ilya, you said you don't know how they would make something that would be as good or better than Breath of the Wild.
I can't fathom it at this point. I know they can, but
I say take the 120 shrines, cut it in half, give us 50,
put some dungeons.
Yeah, give us 50 or 60 mini dungeon shrine-esque things. Like, instead of having a shrine come out of the ground, have a cave that you go into. Like in Twilight Princess, there were sort of mini dungeons that were like 1 or 2 rooms. There's one specifically I remember you walk into and you can fall down with the iron boots, and then you get stuck to the magnet thing, and then you walk around. There's like a Lizalfos or something in there. So give us like 50 or 60 of those hidden around, and then give us like the rest as actual temples that everyone wanted to come back. And then, like, if you still wanted to have the moving dungeons, maybe you could still have that, like, City in the Sky was always like a floating thing. Like they had the Cloud Palace in Minish Cap, whatever it was called, I forget.
Oh.
And then
yeah,
and Twilight Princess had the City in the Sky Skyward Sword had, which was really the coolest one, because like the final dungeon, you were there the entire time, and you never
Secretly.
spoilers.
That's such a good dungeon. Honestly, Skykeep. That's the mechanics.
It's like good with the birds and everything. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
good. Sorry.
No, it's cool.
Ready to gush.
But yeah, that's what I would say. And then like I think they purposefully left things out of Breath of the Wild just so they knew they would have ideas to build upon in the next one.
Right.
Like underwater exploration was
That's what I was
completely
about to say,
missing.
or even just fishing in general.
Yeah.
Jesse likes his fishing.
Yeah.
I mean, they added 2 of those to Majora's Mask 3D, so clearly it's needed.
Link's
Sure, this must be an ongoing joke with us.
Link's Awakening began as a fishing game that someone was just working on by itself.
I think also at this point, again, with the whole, like, this is my first time experiencing a new Zelda game come out at an older age, I'm gonna be, like, clutching Breath of the Wild so hard that the day that first trailer comes out, I'm gonna be like, puts game down. It's here.
It's pretty much like, it's like you don't know what you don't know, right? So it's like with everything that's come out with Zelda, it's like, well, what can they build upon to make it different? And when we find out it's actually open world, we're like, we didn't think Nintendo would do that, and yet they did it, you know? So it's like, what are they going to build upon this time?
I mean, I cried with the trailers from Breath of the Wild.
Honestly, best game
I'm gonna be
trailers.
nuts.
Honestly,
I'm
best
gonna be
game
nuts for the next
trailers.
ones.
Yeah.
I cry about anything I'm passionate about, so Legend of Zelda, Animal Crossing.
This is the best cupcake ever.
Can I just admit really quick, Chu? I actually made a point to check out your Twitter that night because I knew like you were so passionate about Animal Crossing. I was like, I wonder what Chu feels about this. And you were just like post, and I was like, wait, I have to go all the way down. She's also retweeting things. That was so great.
Everyone was
so
tagging
great.
her. It was just like,
Yeah,
so
everyone was
honored.
just like, wait, Kayla, do you know?
I opened Twitter to tag Kayla in something, and then the first thing I see is Kayla being like, everyone's tagging me about Animal Crossing, and I'm like, okay, well.
Yeah, no, it was
The
so funny
masses
because
beat me to
after
it.
that direct, like I had to go to work right after, so I put my phone down and I didn't look at it. And when I looked at it, like 3 hours later, it had like over 50 notifications. I was like, this is all because of Animal Crossing.
Yep.
Yep.
Best troll ever.
Oh yeah, the way
Nintendo
they
loves
presented
trolling
it.
us.
It was
Oh,
great.
man.
It was so good.
Honestly, I thought they were just going to say that he was, what were they called? The
Echo?
yeah, I thought he was just going to be an Echo.
I was
fighter.
worried he was going to be an Echo character, and then he was like, I have to go back to work. And I was like,
Had to make
Yes.
a nice place. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? You're gonna Nah.
and it like it just goes black, and you just see like there's no name, just Animal Crossing 2019. I was like, that's all I need.
Oh,
The
man.
Metroid Prime 4 treatment right there.
Right?
I hope it doesn't take
We
as
got
long as
more
Metroid
for
Prime
Animal
4.
Crossing than we
I
did.
want Metroid to take a long time, to be honest.
Like Metroid at this point, every time I think about like that logo that came up for Metroid Prime 4, even though I know nothing about Metroid, I feel like I look at it and I go, I just feel so bad for their fans right now. I couldn't
Oh.
wait this long.
I know the longer it is, the better it's going to be. Now, fans, I actually feel bad for Kingdom Hearts fans because
True.
y'all have like gotten married and have kids, and the game still hasn't come out yet. So you know, bless your hearts.
All right.
True.
I think
True.
we are ready for the next one, which is to explain it a little bit before we start. Daniel and I think we're the ones that
Oh.
started this on the podcast. I don't know
What did
who
we
else
do?
was with us the first time. I think Holly was with us one of the times, maybe. Anyways, we started this YouTube channel, or I guess I started this YouTube channel talking about Zelda news and theories. And after a while, you kind of run out of theories. So people on Twitter would start being like, oh, well, this website put out this top 10 list. What do you think about the theories that they put? And I would go through and it would have some of the cringiest theories. Like,
Dumbest.
has these people...
They're just
like,
struggling for content. Yeah.
yeah, it's like, have they
Yep.
played any of the Zelda games?
Ever?
Yeah, so Daniel and I, on a few videos, we would go through these lists of Zelda theories, but we ended up running out of Zelda lists or theory lists for Zelda. So on this one, it's just Mario. So instead of going through the whole thing, we're just going to each pick one. So it's a list of 10, I think. Whatever. But we're just going to pick one, our favorite, and talk about it. So while I'm doing the intro for it, look for the one that you think is either really good or really bad.
Okay.
All right. So, what's up, everybody? I am Jesse, or Game Over Jesse, as all of you may know me. Here with us, joining us, is our guest, Miss Click. We have Chiblima, Ilya, and Daniel. Today we're going to be talking about Mario theories. Usually we go through a bunch of Zelda theories for you guys, but to change it up, I thought it would be fun to discuss some Mario theories for the first time. So, has anyone found a theory on this list that they're
all really, really weird.
They're all really weird. All right, so I guess I should start.
Yes,
This
they are.
list does come from Mashable. It says 10 Super Mario fan theories that will make your mustache curl. So, Ilya, Chiblima, Miss Click, protect your mustaches.
Well, my hair is already
mustaches.
curling, so we got this going on
Yeah.
for it.
My peach fuzz.
Jesse just excluded me because he knows I can't grow a mustache.
No, because like we're the guys. So
So you're saying
can't
I'm more
grow a
likely to grow a mustache than you are, Daniel. Thanks.
I'm saying that's what Jesse's saying.
all right. So the article was written by Andrea Romano. She
Listen,
says,
this article just
is it that bad?
It's pretty
It's bad.
bad.
It's pretty bad.
It's bad.
Okay.
In
It's
fact,
pretty
can I
bad.
go first?
Yeah, you can go
yeah.
first. Let me get
Okay.
through this intro that they wrote first.
Okay.
So Andrea Romano says, one rule about pop culture, if it exists, there's probably a fan theory about it. Super Mario Bros. Is celebrating its 30th anniversary on September 13th. This is an old article for the people. We know it's not 30 years now. And not only have gamers been celebrating for the last 3 decades with serious gameplay, they've also been having some serious conversations about their favorite mustachioed plumber. While some of
we
these
haven't.
ideas might be a little off the wall, others are just so weird they make absolute sense. Here are just a few of the intense conspiracy theories on the internet that fans have been tossing around their heads. Prepare to have your minds blown, Mario fans. So, Chiblima, you asked to go first.
So the one that I picked is number 7. Donkey Kong killed Mario and Luigi's father.
Makes sense.
So-
Makes sense to me.
So I'm just gonna go ahead and go straight to the middle paragraph.
Okay.
Here's how it works. Mario loves Princess Peach, at least at first, and lives in the Mushroom Kingdom, while Jumpman loves his wife Pauline and lives in New York City. While some have assumed Mario and Jumpman to be the same person, Mario would have had a major midlife crisis to go from a New York City plumber to the savior of a magical kingdom. But what is to explain the resemblance? Jumpman is Mario and Luigi's dad. Honestly, they had to come from somewhere. Unfortunately, at the end of Donkey Kong Jr., Jumpman is the antagonist of Donkey Kong and dies at the end, killed by Donkey. I like that they shorten it to Donkey.
Donkey.
In all these decades of gameplay, Mario has yet to seek revenge. And apparently this Reddit user keeps going into depth on the theory.
yay,
So,
Reddit.
When
that,
it just says killed by Donkey, I imagine Donkey from Shrek just bursting
That's
in
what I was thinking.
and like Donkey kicking Mario or Jumpman. just
Slapping him with waffles to death.
and DK's just standing there wondering what the hell's going on.
This is my game.
yeah, I don't know. I'm just like, when I read the title of that, I was like, Donkey Kong killed Mario and Luigi's father. I don't think they'd let Donkey Kong back in the game if he did something that terrible.
Okay, but if Mario's dad is married to Pauline, there's a lot of questions I have about the events in Mario Odyssey and the Mario vs. Donkey Kong games and like like every other time Pauline is in a Mario game.
Things just got really uncomfortable and weird.
Yeah, just like the hot young stepmom, I guess. I don't know.
All right, so Chiblima, thumbs up
Ew.
or down?
You know what? No. Big ol'.
All right,
It's canon. I don't know what you guys are saying. It's canon. Donkey from Shrek bursts in.
As our guest, do you have yours picked out?
I forgot. We're just picking the one that we like hate the most, right?
Or it can be either. The one you hate
or
the
one
most.
That you think is legit.
Whatever you think is the most interesting to talk about.
Whatever Jumpman's out to you.
Whatever Jumpman's out to you.
This one's so funny. Number 4, the whole series is just Princess Peach's propaganda. Mario and his friends are just puppets, and Princess Peach is the puppet master, according to a Reddit user. Why are we making articles off of Reddit? Oh my god. Have you ever asked yourself why we're being shown a Princess Peach point of view of our favorite game? We always believed that Peach was telling the truth and that she was the victim and Bowser was the villain. Well, what if Princess Peach is really just using the Mario games, which are plays? What if we're just using them as propaganda to lead you to believe that Bowser's the villain, when in reality, Peach is an evil dictator who wants to oppress the people of the Mushroom Kingdom? This post explains that gamers are never shown Bowser's point of view in the games, and therefore we're never given a complete picture of the politics of the Mushroom Kingdom. For all we know, Princess Peach could be manipulating Mario into thinking she's kidnapped to feed into her master plan.
Ooh, wowzers.
I didn't know that Peach was so devious.
I mean, I don't know it. I don't. It's...
Probably
I would see Daisy doing that before Peach, personally.
Really? That's so funny.
Really? Daisy, huh?
I just think it's just funny. Like, just trying to throw politics in anywhere you can. Good luck.
Yeah.
Please keep politics out of video games.
Right?
And, like,
right?
The person that made this article was getting all of their sourcing from Reddit. Like, were they scrolling through, like, the Reddit fanfic, like, Mario section? Or...
Yeah.
The two that we've had so far read more like fanfic as opposed to thought out theories.
Some of them are actually worse, though. Like, I'm picking a mild one. There's some...
Hey,
yeah, the one I'm thinking of is really weird.
Alright, since you already have one, Ilya.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, first I have to say I almost picked 7 until Chewy picked it because of the first line. Instead of just to clear up, it says one fan theory is so full of tragedy and family intrigue it would make Shakespeare blush. And I'm like, as a theater actress who has done Shakespeare, it's really not that bad. Shakespeare's still worse.
If a person died, that would not make Shakespeare blush, but okay.
Just like Titus and Andronicus is enough. They eat each other.
Yeah, pretty much.
The one I was thinking of is number 3. Luigi is all Mario keeps his strength in check. It says, poor Luigi. He's often brushed off as the weak loser brother of the popular and strong Mario. But what if the guy in green is actually a killing machine ready to rage at any moment? One fan theory on Reddit explains that Luigi may be stronger than we think, and staying close to Mario keeps him from hulking out. The user explains, the Reddit user, of course, Luigi's only fear is that he, Mario, may go too far one day. Oh no, that Luigi, will go too far one day and hurt people on accident due to his power running rampant. A common trait we see in his extreme fear of ghosts. The reason behind this is because ghosts have been known to have the ability to possess living beings. By staying close to his brother, he doesn't have to worry about hurting people because he knows that Mario is the most skilled fighter in existence and the only person who can stop him. Mario is the polar opposite of Luigi, a mortal man without any notable powers. Despite that, Mario is capable of fighting against villains, capable of destroying dimensions. Thought I said Dementors at first. I was like, wrong series. And even defeating Luigi himself several times, Super Paper Mario, using nothing but his sheer battle skill. By staying next to his brother, Luigi can make sure that if one of his many odd powers goes out of control or he turns evil, Mario can be close enough to stop him and limit the damage. What?
This doesn't explain Luigi's mansion. If this is true, then that entire mansion...
It would just be blown up, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yo, these people need more. They need to do other things with their time.
They need to educate themselves on Mario and then go do other things.
It reads like fan fiction instead of...
Yeah, I'm reading a freaky fan fiction.
I'm not sure where the grounds for this theory were from. I
don't think they exist.
My brain is shutting down reading this.
All right, Daniel.
I think my IQ dropped after reading that.
This one really baffled me. Number 9, the coins that Mario collects.
Oh yeah.
Souls. I'm just imagining like Dark Souls or in Skyrim when you like absorb a dragon soul. I don't know, but Super Mario. So that goes. Get ready for the most existential gameplay you've ever experienced. It turns out every time you hit, smash, burn, or generally destroy an object or enemy, and you get a coin in return, you're actually getting that thing's soul. A user, guess where, on Reddit wrote, the instruction manual for Super Mario Bros. 1 states that the inhabitants of Mushroom Kingdom were turned into bricks. Yes, the exact same ones that Mario smashes on his journey. If the bricks are Mushroom Kingdom residents, then how are there coins inside them? What if Mario was actually harvesting the souls of innocent toads?
Doesn't that one come from the manual from the first game?
I mean, yeah, like...
Yeah.
I think that's been retconned anyways, but yeah, just it's a little bit morbid.
Yeah, that was just the Nintendo of America team trying to make sense of why there's so many blocks. So they're like, well, there's no people and there's a bunch of blocks, so what if the people got turned into blocks? And that is all of the thought that went into that.
Morbid.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Alright, so the one that I picked, number 10, Wario is a crazed Mario fan.
Oh my
Wario
gosh.
isn't... I want to say I picked the first one. Was it 7? I picked it as well. Or 4? I forget which one it was.
It was 7.
Yeah. So then I picked this one. Wario is a crazed Mario fan. Wario isn't such a bad guy. He just doesn't know how to process all these feelings of respect and admiration. Some evidence of Wario's devotion to Mario include Mario is established as incredibly famous. When he meets characters, they always say how glad they are to meet a celeb like him. Wario's outfit is a super fan equivalent of Mario's overalls, white gloves, mustache, and a cap with an upside down M or W, however you want to spin it. Wario has starred in his own Mario-like games. He's practically copying him. In Super Mario Land 2, Wario lives in a castle with a statue of Mario in front. Of course, it's revealed that this place used to be Mario's own castle, but still, Wario doesn't seem to mind keeping it intact. If that isn't love, we don't know what is. So, you guys think...
You don't know what love is, I guess.
That's what I'm thinking. You don't know.
So Wario is not fantasizing about Mario? No?
He expresses his love in farts and burps.
He's fantasizing about garlic.
Sounds like a 5-year-old boy.
Nah.
So is he like basically Tingle?
Ooh.
Interesting.
No. Tingle at least admits it to a certain degree. A little bit.
Alright.
Ooh.
I think that brings us to the mailbag.
Yes, I think that article made me very uncomfortable in general.
Yeah.
Honestly, like, maybe it's just because I'm a little bit more knowledgeable about the Zelda series, but it seemed like the Zelda discussions were a bit more fun when we
I think there is a little
theories.
bit more to it, though, because you can go a bit more in depth about Zelda lore than you can about Mario lore, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So,
Mario's pretty straightforward.
yeah, so...
Like, what
Like,
was...
please don't try to put the pieces together between all of the games.
No.
What were some of the bizarre Zelda theories that we covered?
Oh, like, barring the obvious Link is dead one, Petroforce, the It's All a Dream theory, of course, that always comes up. There's
Ocarina of Time, Link and Zelda as siblings, the one I used to believe.
Alright.
Yeah.
Well, moving on to the mailbag. So everyone in the live chat, this is your chance to interact with us. You can ask your Zelda questions. If you have one that you specifically want answered by someone, please tag them so they can see it. Otherwise, with everyone commenting, if you don't tag us, then it might just get covered by the rest of all of the comments that people have we have a bit more of an active chat tonight, thanks to Miss Click, I guess.
Yeah.
Welcome to all my miscreants, babies.
Yeah. So, go ahead, leave your comments or questions, and then we'll do the intro. We can either pick through the live chat or pick some of the questions that's already in the mailbag. All right. So everyone ready?
See.
See.
What's up, everybody? I am Jesse, or Game Over Jesse, as you all may know me. Here with us is our guest, Miss Click, for our Zelda mailbag for the Hylian's Gamescast. We also have Chiblima, Ilya, and Daniel. So today, in case you guys don't know what the Zelda mailbag is, if you're just clicking on the video because you've seen Miss Click in the title, this is where you can ask your Zelda questions for each of us to answer on the next Zelda mailbag. Or if you happen to be watching live, you can give us your questions live, and if it's good enough, we will try our best to answer it. But if you want your question to be guaranteed to be answered on the show, or if you would just like to get sent one of these cool shirts that has all of us from the podcast, you can go to patreon.com/GameOverJesse, where your question will be guaranteed to be answered on the show, and many
Such
more
a cool
things.
shirt.
So, yes, the shirt was fan art by a really cool person, Jonathan. So thank you. All right. Does anyone have a question picked out that they would like to see? Anyone?
A lot of the ones at the end of the Google Doc are just weird, and I don't understand. Don't want to. Yeah.
Okay, well, that very last one I can answer in like 10 seconds.
Cool.
We're just gonna jump into it. Okay, we're doing this. Norman Albera asks, why don't all the links just pass down the items they've obtained on their journeys to the next hero? Why would they? They can't. There's like hundreds of years between the games, sometimes thousands in the case of Breath of the Wild. How do you do that? You're dead.
I think he's probably just thinking it's kind of like an Avatar scenario where when one Link dies, the next one's reborn, and they just kind of like pass them on. But it's legitimately like things are taken care of, possessions are passed on, probably like family heirlooms, stuff like that.
Yeah. The only case that I can think of that kind of happening was in Twilight Princess. The bow you get was supposedly a previous hero's bow, which was kind of passed on to you via the Gorons. So it doesn't seem very feasible. I don't think they're planning ahead, being like, well, Ganon's dead, but I'll make sure that when I get reincarnated or another iteration of my hero's spirit comes up, that he'll be ready for this threat that I've been eliminated. So already.
Thank you, Avatar Link.
Yes.
The question that I pick comes from Nemi. I guess that's how you pronounce it. And they say, he's in the live chat, of course.
Ooh.
Says, would you guys want the Happy Mask Salesman for another Zelda game? Now, to add to this, I would say, not do we want him for another game, but if there was a spin-off game, such as the Tingle games or something, that had him as the lead character, what kind of wacky story could you guys imagine to go along with it?
How he found Majora's Mask.
Oh, so you're thinking like prequel sort of deal?
I don't know. That was just the first thing that came to mind.
Because right now he's only in Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, and then it's probably a different Happy Mask Salesman who's in one of the Oracle games. I forget which, but there's a side quest that involves him. But then there's also, in Skyward Sword, there's the one guy that kind of has some similarities to him.
That one shop owner.
Rupin? Yeah. And then Breath of the Wild has a Happy Mask Salesman, but it is not the Happy Mask Salesman. So, a bit interesting. Whenever I was playing it, I liked, in my own headcanon, even though it's completely baseless, I liked imagining that it was the Happy Mask Salesman wearing a mask and pretending to be the other person. But that's just my thought. But I'm going to go with what Ilya said and say, yeah, I would like to see how he got, like, give us the side story that also happens to be a prequel and answers some of the questions that everybody wants to know about Majora's Mask. Miss Click, what about you?
I saw someone, and I was actually talking with the Mountain about this, my hubby, for those of you who don't know. But the Hylian asked, and it's listed here, what if Ganon was the protagonist and Link is the antagonist? Ooh. I thought that was really cool, but if I would spin it a little bit, I personally would love to see if Link and Ganon, and then obviously like Zelda or whoever is the holder of the Triforce of Wisdom, they have to team up against someone else who has the Triforce of Power. Because he like stole it from Ganon type, the Ganon type character or something, but the character that was holding it wasn't necessarily bad, or perhaps the other two is found, but then somehow they find out the true destined wielder for power, you know, who that would be, and he wasn't actually someone evil, because power doesn't have to be evil, it's just because his heart was malice that the power was used wrong. Because technically with the wisdom, with the courage, like, it's kind of hard to see a negative spin on those because we haven't, but I'm sure they could find a way to do so. So I think it'd be cool is if there was a different antagonist and Link and Ganondorf had the team up. I think that would be pretty dope, you know, just because you get to see more interaction or more kind of skill set that this character who normally would be the antagonist, kind of see how he would interact, you know, to be the hero of sorts, you know, like how would those team fights go instead of, you know, Link shielding the light arrow to hit Ganon, you know, like what if it's like a tag team, like three of them, someone shoots the arrow, it deflects off, and the other one, like, I don't know, it'd just be really cool.
That's really
seeing the Triforce come together as one.
Exactly, and where it's not 2 against 1, it's all 3 taking down this big huge foe, you know, someone else. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, and that's sort of unlikely allies
came back.
Like if Demise came back and they had to use the Triforce against him in each of them, and then Demise being like, see, you should be hating just like I do, and Ganondorf be like, no, I'm nothing like you. Like, that would be so cool.
Teen angst Ganon.
Well, he could be older. He could be like, I fought my whole life, and you've said nothing but bad name for my people. You know, kind of have like a little bit of the Wind Waker. Like, the Wind Waker is like the saddest Ganondorf because he's just like, the wind brought you prosperity and life, and it brought death and destruction for my people. You know, so it's kind of like have that backstory in there. You know, it's like people think that we are nothing more than these thieves, but I want to set my people right. You know, stuff like that. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, and then like with Ganondorf, I have a video where it talks a little bit about this, but in the video I use a Dragon Ball Z comparison to the people watching that know that, to where I said, if you really, I guess you could put Demise in the same boat as Majora, because we don't really know what Demise's end goal was. But with Majora, I said he was more like Majin Buu or Kid Buu from Dragon Ball Z, to where he just wanted to cause chaos and destroy everything. Whereas Ganondorf was more like Frieza, to where they just want to roll over everything. Whereas, like, they want to keep the kingdom as intact as possible because they want to be the leader of it. They want everyone to respect and worship them with, and if he destroys everything, there's not going to be anyone left to worship him. But with Majora, he didn't care. He was willing to kill himself along with everyone else, causing the moon to crash. So, in a way, I could see it play out to where, if, you know, someone like Majora came along, to where Ganondorf's like, you know, I'm usually the bad guy trying to take over, but if he destroys Hyrule, there's not going to be anything left for me to rule. So I could see a situation like that.
That would even work, or like, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so that's really great. I haven't thought about that in a long time. All right, anyways.
Time to start making my next fan fiction.
Yeah, fan fiction. Where's the next question coming from?
I have fun that I found.
Funny.
It says it's from Townsend Kevin or Townsend Kevin. I'm not sure which way that needs pronounced. Says, why did the Zora evolve into birds? And someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding is when in the adult timeline, everything flooded, there were a lot of dangerous creatures in the ocean, so the Zora slowly evolved into birds to adapt, and then you could be like, well, what about Breath of the Wild? Well, since at least a lot of us seem to be of the mind that that is a converged timeline end, sort of, Breath of the Wild being the converged timeline, they just continued evolving. Thus, the Rito that we have there being more bird-like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a few different theories as well that I don't really have myself like a settled on one explanation. One theory being like the gods changed the Zora to Rito to prevent them from finding Hyrule, which was at the bottom of the sea. Makes sense. Another is that the Zora are freshwater fish, so they can't survive in the ocean. But then again, the Zora and Majora's Mask do, so there's that. Take it with a grain of salt. But also, like, the Zora have evolved constantly over all 3 timelines. Not just the Rito's the most extreme example, but the Zora look different and evolve in all 3 timelines. And then in Breath of the Wild, we have a whole variety of Zoras that have evolved in different ways. So it's possible that they just, with Breath of the Wild having both of them, that some of them evolved into birds and some of them evolved into just more different types of fish. And it's weird, but I mean,
it's Zelda.
It be how it do. So
It's just the circle of life in Zelda.
Yeah. So there's just, I don't have one firm thing myself, but
you have little kids that turn into little wooden creatures. You have that poop out gold. you have fish that evolve into birds. Makes sense, right?
Which kind of happened in real life. There were fish creatures, and then there was land, and so food came on the land, and then they came on the land and became the dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs are cool. All right, who's got the next question?
Earlier, Buzz and Tate, aka my friend Chris, asked in the live chat if I was excited for Let's Go Pikachu or Eevee. And I see, this is like, I kind of wanted to answer this question because I don't really know your guys' thoughts on it, because like the most that I know about it is standing there at E3 and looking at it and being like, wow, once I get in that line, it's going to be 3 hours to play the demo.
But first you got to get in line to get in that line.
Exactly. So like, so far that's my only experience with even like thinking about the game. And then I saw like the console that they're releasing for it, which is like cool or whatever, but I don't actually have a lot of thoughts about it. But during my time with Nintendo this summer, a couple of my coworkers at Nintendo got me back into Pokemon Go, so I feel like I might be more interested in playing Let's Go Pikachu or Eevee now. Which for I'll pick Pikachu.
I think it's cute. Like, my husband recently just got back. Like, I got into bed and I hear like the do music, and I look over. I'm like, did you reinstall that? You told me you were never installing that game again. Because it took up like 2 weeks of his life. Like, we almost needed counseling because I was like, where did you go? Oh, I'm down at so-and-so catching Pokemon with the guys. And I'm like, it's your turn to make dinner tonight. It's stuff like that. But I think when you have investment into Go, obviously because they're trying to bridge the gap between hardcore Pokemon fans, people who liked Go, where Pokemon, whether you followed the games or not, it was pretty much like, oh my gosh, you can catch Pokemon in the real world. Like, you're looking at this place you normally always go and there's a Pokemon right there. Like, seeing that include everyone, I think it's really, really cool. I personally, I'm going to wait and see either A, until they show more info that kind of answers a lot of unsolved questions I had in my head, or I see someone else with it and I'm like, okay, that's really cool. Because like, they just said that you can store up to 1,000 Pokemon you catch in Pokemon Go, but what can you do with those? Is it just like a zoo? Is it just like a playpen? Like, can you actually use them? Things like that, you know, will kind of determine for me whether I get it or not. Because if I can actually use some of the Pokemon that I've caught, yeah, I'll reinstall and I'll, you know, it'll motivate me to catch more outside without my Switch. But if not, it's kind of like, well, it's just a trophy room at this point.
Yeah, exactly. And that was my thoughts about the Pokemon Let's Go, because it's like, I don't know anything about it. I haven't heard anything about it. People went to play the demos. What information did we get from that?
Right.
All right. Do we have one question left? Who's not gone yet?
We've all gone.
Have we?
Haven't
I think so. Did you go? Oh, yeah, you did. Yeah.
Was that 5?
Yeah.
Okay.
We were efficient.
Do we even have any more questions to answer, though? We need to seriously rework that Google Doc, because we have
oh my gosh, there's so many old questions in there.
All right.
To really call through it.
Our guest, Miss Click, she'll pick the final question before we leave.
Ooh, I need to chat then.
Yeah. So if you have a question, this is your last chance. because
Girl, misclick questions.
we're going to get food after this.
Ooh, I got
Food.
chicken.
Ooh, okay. Actually, I like this one. This is from Rabbit, and this, like, for a second, hit me like a ton of bricks in the final part of Breath in the Wild, because I thought they meant one thing, and obviously, apparently, they didn't. But I'll try to make sense of this. Rabbit asks, if Zelda has the entire Triforce in Breath of the Wild, and Ganon has finally decided to give up his reincarnation, is the future timeline beyond forever changed? I think Rabbit's asking, did Ganon give up his reincarnation abilities at the end of Breath of the Wild? I'm pretty sure we've agreed that it's no, right? He hasn't given up his reincarnation, because she said that Hyrule is safe for now at the end, like when they're walking away at the very end, and then the music and the flowers and tears and everything. I personally, but I would like to see a game, like perhaps when they feel like Zelda is reaching, maybe when the creators are older, you know, Miyamoto and them are like, maybe we let the series go with us. I personally would be okay with that, like let it stay in the hands that kind of nurtured it versus it changing. I'd rather have it stay golden than have it slowly die off and the games be bad. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I think it'd be really cool to see a game in which it hits you, almost like Breath of the Wild I thought did for me, is that this is it. We are breaking the curse. We are ending it. There is no more hatred to be spawned. Therefore, there is no more need for the spirit of the hero, and therefore the blood of the goddess doesn't matter. You know, and I think that would be like, they'd have to handle it so well and so magnificently to have it end at such a strong, triumphant note where you're like, okay, you know, that's the end of the journey, you know, and then maybe from there, you know, go back and do more prequels like Skyward Sword and stuff. But to have an actual finite end would be so magnificent, in my opinion. It'd be very sad, and I would bawl, and I would forever tell my children of the stories. But it would just, like, I think when that hit me in Breath of the Wild, I was like, oh my god, did they just make the end of the timeline? They weren't even preparing us for it. But then you hear Zelda later, and you're like, oh, okay. That would be dope.
So, with Ganon,
I would cry for a year straight.
Yep.
Yeah,
I would still cry. Someone says Zelda.
That's true. But I think what at that time what she was referring to is like he was kind of giving up on taking on a proper physical humanoid form.
It's exact one, right?
Exactly. Yeah, and like in that moment. But I don't think he has a choice to just give up on being a part of this cycle.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Well, I was saying if they add a new element,
like, I'm out. You know,
like if they add a new element in, like maybe there's a force, much like the Twilight, right? We don't know about the Twilight until Twilight Princess, and you're like, oh, there's this whole other realm, you know? So like it adds a different, now whenever you see Sunset or Twilight in Breath of the Wild, I'm like, oh, hey, Minda, miss you, you know, stuff like that. But what if they added in that there is someone or something out there that the goddesses have left behind, or maybe they create and they give for that specific game to where it can break the curse? You know, like maybe the goddesses are like, we need to stop this. How do we stop this? Like, what demise ruined this whole thing? Like, what do we do? And maybe they come up with it. Something like that, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was always my thought on that. Is like, because you've never seen Zelda or Link be able to stop the curse.
Right.
So, you know, it's Demise's curse.
It wasn't the goddesses. It was someone else's.
Yeah, like, I don't think Ganondorf would even have... Like, the whole point of a curse is that you can't just be like, okay, well, the curse is done. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to come back to
this
life.
enough times. Yeah.
Right. It's kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy in a way.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. And I think there's only one time Ganondorf has reincarnated technically.
Vampire.
Which is Four Swords Adventure. Ganondorf, and then we're not even sure if he would have the memories of having reincarnated, because Link and Zelda sure don't. If they did, the games would be easier. But so I don't think he is like as willing a participant in this as I think it kind of made it maybe out to be, or maybe it was implied. So.
All right. Does anyone have any final thoughts? No? All right, Miss Click. Who are you? And what are you doing?
Hey, Miss Click. I don't know. You guys seem friendly, so, you know. But hey, guys, thanks for stopping by. My name's Miss Click. I stream Monday through Saturday, almost every day for about 5-6 hours. I try to keep it less than that, but it never goes like that. So anyways, you can find me at Misclick Gaming on YouTube or misclickgaming.com. To find all my links, I'd give you my Twitch, but it's a mess right now with my username, so don't worry about it. That's another story for another time. But yeah, love to see you and have you guys stop by. I would appreciate it.
All right. Daniel, who are you?
I have no idea. I am Daniel. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Twitch at CaptBurgerson. That's CaptBurgerson. Really, if you want to actually just talk to me, Discord in Jesse's server, which is currently my dank donut shop.
What?
That's what the Discord server is called right now.
Yes.
That's the best way to find me. To just, if you want to like ping me or just message me something or say, hey, I got this theory that I want you to talk about on the podcast. But I've just started streaming once a week on Twitch as well, so that's a cool place to check out.
Yes.
Yeah, we've just been playing through some Zelda 1, some OG NES Zelda. I'm really bad at it, so that's really the main appeal. And if you're curious about what other things I work on, just visit my website at burgersonmedia.com. That's all I got. Thank you.
All right. Chublima, tell us about yourself.
I am Chublima. You can find me on Jesse's Discord. I am apparently really active. I might be like one of the active people from the podcast in there right now. Yeah, so Jesse's Discord. You can find me on Twitter at Chublima or Instagram at Chublima. I also have been streaming lately, so you can find me on Twitch at Chublima. It's with an extra A though, so it's like Chublima.
Sorry.
And yeah, so you guys probably have noticed that I've been restreaming onto Jesse's channel. I played like 6 or 7 hours of Banjo-Kazooie this weekend because I had time off, so... Oh no, I played more than that because I streamed like 3 times. I streamed Friday, Sunday, and then today.
Yeah, exactly. See, it sneaks up on you.
How does it feel finally being unhooked from the claws of Nintendo now that you're not working for them 24/7?
I have so much free time. So much free time. But I miss it. Like, I'm looking forward to the Christmas season with them and to do some more demoing and get back out there. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah.
Yay!
All right.
That's me.
Finally, Ilya. How are you?
Yes, I'm okay. I am Ilya, and you can find me on the YouTube as Ilya Rose. I make videos for every other Wednesday. Random things. I call myself the Geek Apprentice, but you can just find Ilya Rose. It's easier that way. It's about geeky things, if you couldn't guess that. And so I have a video this Wednesday, but you can also follow me on Twitter at Rose_Ilya or Instagram at IlyaRose_Geek Apprentice. And I do voiceovers for Game Over Jesse. So that's fun. I like doing that stuff. Yeah, That's me.
Yes. All right. Everyone, thank you to the 50 people who are here right now and to the almost 100 people that were here earlier. Don't know how many people were watching, if any, on Twitch. Sorry about that. So, to recap, we have CaptBurgerson on the Twitter. We have Chublima, Rose_Ilya, Game Over Jesse, and Miss Miss. What is it?
It's _misclick_.
Yeah. Okay. There we go. All right. I knew the underscores were in there. All right. So thank you all for watching. Again, if you have any questions you would like to have answered, leave them in the comments below. But until next week.